I heard, so we're recording. I heard that I only get so many recordings or so many streams with this app that are free because I'm just using the free version.
Hmm.
What do you use
I paid for the next branch up on it.
with StreamYard?
Hmm.
How much is it?
I think $44 a month.
That's not that bad.
It's
These
not
turn out well.
horrific.
How many do you get? Do you
I
get
have no
more?
idea. I just started it this week.
You're like, I don't know.
I
It's
don't
better,
know.
more.
We're just going for.
All right. Well, Crystal, it's nice to finally meet you screen to screen. I've been lurking in your comments on your lives since, well, not that long, but probably about a month or two. Um, I'd seen you around quite a bit before that, and I guess what I'm really curious about, and I wanted to ask you, was about your kind of your start, because you started on TikTok, right?
Hmm. I
And
did.
now you're kind of coming over to YouTube. Can you talk a little bit about your start and then how you've kind of are transitioning over to YouTube? That's super interesting to me.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me on here.
Oh, of course,
And
please.
so I just started just talking and teaching people how to can and preserve their own food, and just started doing it on TikTok when TikTok was very fresh. It just moved from Musically to there. And I started live streaming about 5 years ago. And I noticed during the pandemic that instantly people were very drawn, and they didn't realize that this is what I did all the time. So people were like, "You're a homesteader." And I was like, "No, I believe in emergency preparedness and have it, buy one for now, two for later." And so pretty much magically overnight, it was like it took about a year, but all of a sudden my stuff was just going through the roof. And um
When did
just
you start on TikTok? Like, when did you start posting canning videos on TikTok? Was it pandemic or
2019,
before okay?
2019, 2018, like right in there.
But it really
And
took off during COVID.
so people were really drawn to it. They wanted to learn a little bit more. And then they started noticing buckets and freeze dried food and all kinds of stuff. And they were like, well, wait, what is that? What is that? And so I started just discussing it openly and taking the fear out of the whole, doomsday preppers, TV shows, and really drawing people like, I want it to be something people are drawn to do versus fearful to do.
Yeah.
And I
You know,
didn't want it to be something with a bad title.
I love that. I remember, I don't know when that show came out, but I used to prep like back in 2010 was when
Mhm.
silver went up the first time. Like I was into prepping then, and I got, like everything else, I dove headlong, and it was overwhelming, and like I got super obsessive about it. So I had to stop because it was just too much. But I remember that show coming out and the way that prepping was perceived. It's always, when I tell people I'm a prepper, they go, "Oh, you're a doomsday." They put that word, they
Mhm.
just attach it to it. They just go, "Oh, you're a doomsday prepper." Well, no, not exact. And I have to backpedal and do all this other stuff. But even you, like, just getting into canning and this name, Doomsday Queen, like, how did you get that name?
So I got that name from the Daily Mail and the New York Post. They ran an article on what I was doing on preparedness. And they said, "Oh, my name on TikTok is Charmingly Frugal." And they were like, "She's the queen of doomsday, the doomsday queen." And I was like, coining that immediately.
Best
Like,
marketing ever, right?
best
Yeah.
marketing ever. Did not have to pay for anything to come up with this. But
That's
I
so
had
great.
actually started my prepping journey as a child. Like my grandparents prepped. And so
Oh,
canning and stuff, it just doesn't feel doomsday to me. This is just the way of life. It was
yeah,
deliberate living with a
yeah.
purpose.
It's so that's so funny. Free marketing. Now, how did you even make it on their radar? I mean, Daily Mail and New York Times, that's like obviously national news. How did you, what year was that you started getting like that level of publicity? When did that happen?
Probably end of 2022, 2023.
Mm,
So I had different reels that would take off where they would have 15 million views, 20 million views,
dang.
10
Was it on
million
TikTok?
views. And
Okay.
so every time I would open an app, like I was like trending on X, trending everywhere. And they were like, "Where are you else located?" And I was like, "Nowhere. I'm just on the
Yeah, what other
TikTok."
platforms? Yeah,
Uh,
where's your
So
website? Yeah.
finally, with like encouragement from some other creators who I'm friends with, they were like, you need to cross platform now. Like you have to like, and I'd always planned on doing YouTube because I wanted to take prepping to a different level where it's not just 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes to get education
Mhm.
out, to bring it to where you can sit down, rewatch it, redo the steps, try
Like
again.
long form. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I I love that piece. So you started in 2019. You started getting some traction in 2022-ish,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just said you were encouraged to cross-platform. And I know you and I have chatted about this before
Mm-hmm.
too. Like I'm just on YouTube. So well, I had a couple failed Instagram pages that were non-prepping related, and but now that I'm on YouTube, this is the only place that I am. But can you talk a little bit about cross-platforming? Like what would be your recommendation to me?
To open a channel everywhere, to open it everywhere, send
That sounds like
clips.
so much work though,
It is, and
and
it's
I'm
very
lazy.
intimidating. For me personally, I was like, no, I don't want to go to Facebook. I don't want to go because Facebook gives me the ick just in general because you can't even write on like a chicken platform, like, oh, my chicken's acting a little weird. They're like, you're killing all your chickens. You horrible, vile human being.
But there's
How
judgment. There's too
dare
much
you?
judgment on there.
And everyone just wants to tear each other apart. And so I was like, I'm not going there.
Wow.
And same with Instagram because people knew me. Like my channels are over there pretty decent size, but that's just
Mhm.
my normal life. And I
Oh,
got really intimidated. I was like, what if people in my real life see what I do? What if
yeah.
they see? And then that reality was taken from me when I started hitting like different news channels. Like I would get a phone call from somebody and they're like, I'm sitting in my tractor watching you on the news on Fox News. And I was like, what? And they're like, did you know you're on Fox today? And I was like, no, I had no idea. Oh boy. Nobody let me know on that one.
So,
So,
so did you feel like once you were at that level that the cross-platforming, I mean, you almost had to, right? You couldn't not
mhm,
do it because it was
yeah.
already okay.
And then TikTok was going through the ban, the cells and those kind of things. And so I was
Hmm.
like, I don't want to lose all my content. So I just started to spread it out in every different direction. And I realized that I had been making a mistake when my channel was smaller over there, that I wasn't allowing it to be full grasp. So now I'm playing the catch up game of how do I like improve things over here and make sure
Mm.
that I'm still maintaining and staying loyal to my following over on the other on TikTok.
How many followers do you have on TikTok?
I am at 270,000 followers.
Holy crap. And where else are you? You're like all of them.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.
So do you have to independently maintain those? I mean, posting and po
I
yes?
slack. I like some of
Oh,
them
okay,
get
good.
like a video like once a month. Some get them like once a day. Who knows?
Okay, that makes me feel better because
No,
it
yeah.
sounds like so much work. I don't know that I could do if it required like as much time as I don't put a lot of time into YouTube, but I feel like if another platform required the same amount of time, I just wouldn't do it, you know.
Hmm.
Are there easier ways? I mean, I imagine there's tools that when you post here, it automatically posts over there, or
I have
you
no
know.
idea. I have no idea. I'm as new at this as you are.
All right, good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, you're not alone in this. And I wish people would have told me like cross platform, if you're going to open a channel, open it everywhere. When I opened over here, obviously the media had given me my name right here,
Yeah.
but my other name is Charmingly Frugal. And the part that I ran into a big problem with prepping is everyone thought every single thing I needed to do was frugal. Do I do a lot of things really frugal? 100%.
Mm,
But if I exited out of that frugal, then people would get upset. And then when I came over to YouTube, there's a frugal prepper account. There's a frugal off grid. There's a frugal this. There's a frugal that. And I felt like that name, same with like the name prepper, right? There's thousands of people with prepper in their name.
oh yeah.
You kind of just end up in a bowl with
Mm,
everybody else. And only a few names will end up standing out. So I was like,
yeah.
well, I'll just stay to the name that stands out.
Yeah. What name was at the highest level of recognition, whatever, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So you're on all the now you've kind of shifted gears a little bit. Like I hear you just announce you're doing 5 lives a week?
Hmm.
That's insane. What are you what are you thinking?
Oh, I do
Well, is it
7 days a week normally.
I take
That's
it back.
I'm taking 2 days off, guys. This is a great
Holy
time.
crap. What what the hell are you thinking? What what was your logic there? Like why what's your strategy there? That sounds like a lot to I do one live a week and it, you know, the inner I enjoy it, but the thought of that just sounds like a lot. What do you yeah, what are you thinking?
So, it is a lot in a sense, but I feel like we've hit this time in society that people are craving interaction.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that if somebody watches this, they're down in the comments and they're typing. Sometimes they just want to ask a question or get to know something a little bit more,
Yeah.
or and they're just waiting for your response back. So I feel like when I host lives, I do set a time limit on how long I do a live for. I used to do 6 hours a day on
Oh
top
my
of when I say I
on
like
YouTube?
on TikTok,
Oh, what?
6 hours a
I,
day, 7 days a week, plus
oh my god.
videos, content, all of
Did
that.
that build up your channel and your following?
It definitely made me feel like I bonded with who follows
Yeah.
me, and I got to know kind of what you're doing right now. I got to know preppers on different levels, different aspects. So some that are tech preppers, some that are what you said, one of your friends is like a post collapse,
Yeah,
some
collapse.
that are medical preppers, some who, went from homesteading and started dabbling more into emergency preparedness. um, I like to call it the pandemic, the
Mhm.
ones who woke up during the pandemic and realized like the shelf systems, everything being empty. And so I started to reach people on different and get to know them and get to know what mattered to them. And I think that that's really important.
You see, so it helped you build connection with your audience?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's that's been the funnest, and for me, it's been the most educational. I feel like because you know when you first see people commenting, I remember the very first time I was like, oh, one person commented on my first video, like it's like, you know, but over time you see the same people and you start getting to know. And what's really challenging for me, the older I get, the weaker my memory gets, you know. So someone's tag name in the comments is not the same as their YouTube channel name, which is not the same as their name when they email me. And then their real name is actually, so I'm having trouble keeping track of people, but gradually I'm starting to learn and make better connections and meet more people. And they teach me a lot. Like I learn a
Mhm.
hell of a lot from my audience. Because I don't really edit my stuff very well or
Yeah.
at all, and I make a lot
You
of
edit
mistakes.
just fine. You just don't have to chop it up and make it AI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And people people correct me a lot in the comments, which is good because then I get to go
Mhm.
back and it just gives me more content. You know, I get, oh, I screwed up, and then let's talk about it some more. But I do love the connection piece, and I think that's a great idea. I can't do 6 hours though. Holy crap. What 6 hours?
It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but I feel like that connection and then it allows you to become more self-aware
Mm,
because sometimes we see with channels, everybody knows everything. I don't know everything.
yeah,
And I want to know how somebody else does something different. As I'm starting to dabble in going off grid, there's certain aspects of it that I have no idea. There's going to be a lot of failure moments. And when you fail, you adapt and you overcome, or you continue to fail and quit. You don't
just
you get
give up or adapt,
you
right?
get 2 choices, so you gotta choose one,
Yeah.
and for other people who are off grid that are friends with me and gotten to know them, I've have some people that are in my chat that's been there for 5 years, every day for 5
In your
years.
in your chat, like following you
Mhm,
for 5 years.
and
Wow.
and live streams too, and those
You
people,
know,
I value their opinion more than they know themselves, like
I've noticed that. Like I'll be in your chat and you seem to recognize everybody that comments. You're like, "Oh, hey, 745 prepper, welcome in." Like does she really know these people? These are people that have been with you for a hot minute then.
mhm.
Wow,
I
that's cool.
It was a challenge I gave to myself in the around, like, 2023 when things started to take off. I made a vow to myself that I would never let my status or what my channels grow to overtake the person I am. So, if I meet you in real life, I will recognize you anywhere we go,
Mm,
and I will always say hi and always be kind and continue that on because I think that that is where society is lacking, is
yeah.
that human connection. It's that instantaneous, you get it right now. You walk into the grocery store, you snatch it, that's yours and nobody else's. And so I put a challenge to myself and I was like, get to know them. Know if they're married, know if they're single, know if they have kids, what do they do, what do they like, all of these things. And it allowed me to feel so much more connected to my following
Mm,
than a lot of my other friends. They're like, I have no idea who that is. I have no idea. And I'm like,
yeah.
they've been in your comment section for like
The whole
5
time.
years, and it, just really, humble your heart and
Yeah.
get to know them.
Do you talk about human connection, and I like in my work, I'm a trainer, so I teach like leadership and communication, and so
Mhm.
human connection is a big part of what we do, and my team really emphasizes that in the training that we do. Do you feel like how is the connection piece in the prepping world? I mean, you're way more on social media than I am. I'm just on YouTube, but do you think that's something that's lacking in our, I'll call it a community, I think we're part of the community. Is that would you
Mhm.
agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you think
100%.
human connection, like that connection piece, is something that's missing from the prepper sphere or the community?
I do, because I think that there's some people who focus like the lone wolf scenario
Oh,
versus
so glad
community,
that's out of
right?
style now. Good Lord.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad. I am so glad, but it's that communication, that connection, and we all saw during 2020, they wanted us so isolated, right?
Mm,
And people were just thirsty for some sort of connection. And when it comes to the prepping content, having connections is only good and positive, right? Because somebody else might know how to grow something better or preserve something better or break apart. Like I know you were talking about um guns and like all the classes and certifications you've taken. There's certain things I had no idea in your video and I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." And I think we're drawn to knowledge, but we always have to communicate back and forth.
yeah. I it's the human connection. Like I remember you brought up lone wolf. In the 80s and 90s, I grew up 80s movies and
Mhm.
Rambo, and I had like
Yeah.
camouflage bandana that I would wear to school, and
Mhm.
and the lone wolf. I feel like 80s action movies is what taught us that. But that whole concept, like survivalism or prepping or whatever you called it, it was called back then. I feel like the Western ideal of the American cowboy going it alone, like hit the
Yep.
M60 in your arm, and that was the way we did it. And it seems like just maybe in the past 10 years that people are in the early days of YouTube. I remember watching videos of guys like putting on these 90-liter backpacks with their AR and then a shotgun, and then
Mhm.
thinking that when SHTF happens, like the second, it's like, oh, it's time. They're going to walk out of their house and I don't know. You've heard me
Yeah.
complain about
Yeah, yeah,
this, like
yeah.
walk into the woods and I don't know what
And live.
live from then on. Like, what are you talking about? I'm so glad that is. I feel like the videos and the culture has reached a place where they're like, oh, I don't think I can do this by myself.
Mhm.
Even me with a bunch of kids, I know that there are limitations. You can't know all of it. You can't
Yep.
know all of it.
You can't have an entire encyclopedia inside your head. Just
Yeah.
the human mind itself cannot function that way. And
Right.
that's why skills are so important because people will say the same thing. They'll be like, well, what are you gonna do? Just run out and bug out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how much like when people tell me all the time, I'm gonna go into the mountains and live. And I'm like, how much time have you spent in the mountains? I do a lot of hunting. Are you sure you really want to do that? Like, I mean, I love the mountains and I love camping and backpacking, but are you positive you want to do that with a 2-year-old on your hip? Like,
I've gone where I live. I've consistently gone out hunting. I've confessed this before, but for the past 5 or 6 years, I've never seen anything, heard anything, much less killed anything. So, do you think if in the moment, like in an emergency, I'm going to load up all of my family, we're going to walk into the woods, and I'm suddenly going to be successful at zero chance? There's zero chance of
mm-hmm.
that happening. So you're a successful hunter, right?
Yes, but the
Dang it.
last year, we got hit with forest fires here. We had a bunch of the forest get wiped,
Oh,
and it
mhm.
changed the migration patterns, and I'm telling you, I didn't see nothing that I needed. When I was on my deer hunt,
Really?
an elk walked right in front of me, and I was like,
Did you not have a tag for elk or something?
my tag was started the next week, so illegally, I
Of
could not
course,
do anything,
of
and it was,
course,
like,
yeah.
right in front of me, and I was like then
You're
the
like, hey,
first day
that's
of
nice.
elk season, ton of
Nothing.
bucks right in front of me, and I
Oh,
was like
That's
I
the
was
way
like,
it goes.
but the fires changed the migration, and then it was so hot here that when people were harvesting, their meat was going to spoil immediately because we were in triple
Oh,
digits. They
oh,
couldn't
you
even get
couldn't
them
keep
off
it.
the mountain. Yeah, couldn't
Wow.
even get them skinned, harvest, quartered out, and hauled down in the amount of time. It was awful. So it was a really rough season this year. I think just in my elk hunt alone, I think I hiked around 29 miles in like 3 days.
That's
And then
brutal.
people say that they're going to bug out. And I'm like, are you sure you really want to
Live off the land. You
live
sure
off?
about that?
I mean, it's a great and it's wonderful that they romanticize it in some sense,
Yeah.
but also there's a realistic part where a lot of people are lacking just those skills that our grandparents and our great grandparents had to
Yeah.
live more self-sufficiently. We live in a lifestyle of convenience now.
I know. There's weeks where like there's a few days in a row where I will go to the store like every morning to get breakfast. And
Oh.
I puke a little bit in my mouth. I'm like, you call yourself a prepper? Like what who do you think you're fooling? Like you're driving down the street to get breakfast each day.
Mhm.
Like this is not going to be possible forever. But yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. Let me ask you this. So we're kind of talking about bugging out, and
Mhm.
I know you recently, you and your family have recently acquired some property and are
Mhm.
kind of trying to transition. To me, that's the bugger, the bug out or the prepper ideal, right?
Mhm.
Where we want land somewhere, we want a house or a compound or something in a group
Mhm.
of people. Can you talk a little bit about that ideal and how you're like you started canning and you guys seem to be transitioning towards we need to come up with a name for it, like
We got to
the
come up with
dream or the
something.
ideal. Yeah,
The
we need a term
ideal,
for it.
the
Yeah,
holy trinity,
the place or yeah,
the
the holy place,
place.
the Holy Land. Yeah, but like, can you talk a little bit about how you all have? And I assume that that's getting more serious. Do you
Mhm.
consider like you're getting more serious about prepping? Would you say that that's accurate about you and your family?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I was looking for land for 3 years, which a lot of people don't know, exploring different areas, what we want, what we don't want, how close to civilization we want to be, and how far.
Can you expand on your criteria? What was your criteria for looking for land? Because I'm kind of in that phase right now. Like
So
what were
what
your
can grow out there? And a lot of people think like
yeah.
in the high desert, nothing grows. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of agriculture miles down the road from me.
Hmm.
But my land is completely undeveloped. So it was a lot cheaper, which means I have to have a well, dig the well, start
Hmm.
processing the land, fence the land, develop the land. Like there's a lot that goes in. It's just money. All I hear is cha-ching,
Yeah.
cha-ching,
I just see
cha-ching.
heavy machinery. Like that's a different heavy machine. That's another heavy
It
machine. Like
is.
yeah.
And I've had people tell me like, and I know me and you have made jokes since we've met about
Yeah.
the haters in our comment section, right?
Yeah.
Some man told me I should hand dig that well. They're quoting us around 400 to 600 feet deep. And I was like, do you want to come
What?
and do it for me? Cause like,
Yeah.
I feel like we could make this work. Like, I was like,
400
what?
feet.
400 feet deep. And they're like, you have no idea what you're doing. And I was like, no, I don't. I don't.
That's kind of the point. Yeah.
That's the point of nobody who goes off grid knows exactly what they're doing. You can read 1,000 books, but until you physically have done it with your own hands and had failures in your own hands,
Yeah.
you don't know. And for us, it's, we do love the state of Utah. We were looking in Utah, Wyoming, Montana, in all of those areas. My husband has a career, so I don't want to impede on his career.
Hmm.
And I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Like where I lived, there was 200 people in our town. Like it's 30 miles to the nearest hospital. Everybody is very self-sufficient out there. That's just
Yeah.
you rely
Because
on
you
your
have to be,
neighbors.
right?
You have to be. And
Yeah.
we'd only go to the grocery store like once a month, if that. Like there was no conveniences.
Yeah.
And I want that for my kids because the way society has moved and transitioned, and I'm sure you've seen it with your own kids,
Hmm.
um, there's not much reward for the hard work. People are going into the work field with zero skill set. Um, my husband works in construction and he's like, I see people who have no idea what they're doing. It's harder and harder to find this younger generation that knows what they're doing. And I think that that's where our society has moved towards AI technology and it's collapsing in on itself. And we
Yeah.
have to kind of go back to those basics to rebuild what's being destroyed in the last 30 years.
It's tough because I agree with you. Like we're already at that place. My wife has a business and I help her interview, they're generally female, they're generally, 20 around 20 years old, and like the skill sets that the younger it's kind of shocking sometimes.
Mhm.
It's depressing. Like she can't find good help that stays, works hard, shows up, does the thing. Um, but I think AI is going to accelerate all of that, And I don't know if you know it. I flipped on AI about a month ago. Not with my channel. I have to keep my word there. Like it's still going to be
Mhm.
100% human, like thumbnails and ideas, but at work, and I've decided to learn the technology and to find a way to navigate or adapt it because I don't know how much justice it would be to tell my kid, like if my kids ignore it, I, I don't know. I'm between a rock
Mhm.
and a hard place, but I've gotten kind of smart about it in the past few weeks, and to the point that I'm training other people on it already. So, and that's at
Wow.
work. That's at work, not in my personal life. In my personal life, I
Mhm.
still think it might be demon tech, but at work, I'm like, hey, let's figure this out together. But
You're like, "Let's explore this, but it might be the demon inside your
yeah,
house." Yes.
just in case, yeah.
Just in case,
Um,
I need to know if Terminator's coming.
yeah, part of me I want to have eyes on. It's like keep your enemy close, right?
Mhm.
Um, do you do you feel this might be a personal question, but do you feel like you're retreating from the
Mhm.
world? Is that a
Yeah.
bad thing? Is that a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a
Okay,
good
how
thing
why?
because now in convenience time, I noticed even my own children, like somebody had asked for help and they're like, "Oh, somebody else is gonna do that." And I was like, "What? What?" Like, so even
Mhm,
in our town was a small town and now it's a much bigger town where we live.
mhm,
And even when we get hit with a snowfall, we're right at the bench of the Rocky Mountains and cars will get stuck all the time. And so I will like close down what I'm doing for work for the day, and I go and help, like, our local police force, like, push cars out, tow them
mm,
out, pull them out. Like, community is, like, just collapsing in, and so for me to retreat out, I feel like it's good. It's good for our
mm,
kids to see
yeah,
what community means, that the hustle and bustle, the convenience is only destroying us faster, and
yeah,
that we're losing that human connection. I think that's probably why I live stream so much is I think the lack of human connection is turning into the trolls you see on the internet, the keyboard warriors, the, political divide, the civil divide. It's this lack of human interaction. People are willing to cut off their family members
yeah,
just over an opinion versus realizing, okay, we're still family. Ugh, that sucks,
yeah.
but oh well, you know.
Yeah, these like some of these comments or these arguments would not happen in real life, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I heard a guy in an argument online. He was like, "You're not real." It's like you would never do this in my face. Like this is not real. You're it's
It's true
all
though.
the online world has kind of set up this false, like it's not actually human connection. It's like I said, it's nice to meet you screen to screen. I wish it was
Screen to
face to face,
screen.
but yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not the same, right? There's something that's lost, and we're being presented with this world that is, hey, you're more connected than ever. Like,
Mhm.
are we though? Like I don't feel like I'm more connected than we ever were, or this you get to explore more of the world, more knowledge, more insight, but that's the promise. But I feel like it's falling short,
Well, and it's sort of along the lines of like artificial and like simulation. Is that the word I'm looking
Mhm.
for?
Yeah,
Simulation. Like we are communicating through a screen. We haven't spoken in real life, and our kids use Chromebooks instead of textbooks. They can't go research it back up and go back and find the physical print of it.
yeah,
It's very alarming to watch so hard of what our generations have built be destroyed very
yeah,
quickly
yeah,
because humans kind of are a little bit different as we've always adapted. So, back in the day before there was grocery stores, you grew your food, you preserved your food, you taught your neighbors. This wasn't this like, don't tell anyone we're preppers. We're
right,
never
right,
going to do this. Cover
yeah.
your face.
Wear a hood, yeah.
And nowadays, it's like, no, you can just go to the grocery store. Just go get that breakfast. Just do it.
You
Do it.
don't have to do that. We'll do it for you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can get it delivered. Uber Eats, DoorDash. You don't even have to go into the store. You don't have to see a human. I mean, I don't like humans in general, but I still think human connection
People
matters.
are the worst, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there's that's a big part of prepping. I feel like the general instinct that preppers have of I keep thinking of the movie The Matrix, right? It's like you feel
Hmm.
like you know something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Like there's this general understanding that what we're being presented is not, at the very least, it's not accurate. It's not
Hmm.
reality. It's not what you're telling me that it is, you know?
Yep.
I put out a video where I talked about how like deception is the default. Deception
Yep.
is the default. Like when your box of food says it's fat free and full of grains and health. All of that is BS, right? You're just lying
Yeah.
to my face. This is garbage, you know,
Yep.
or the media or all of these systems. I think present us with information that I think is mostly false. So like, not to get too black pilled, but uh, do you mind getting black
Do
pilled?
it. Let's do it. I'm down.
All
Let's
right.
go
So
for this. I'm
what?
here for this. I'm like, yeah, good
Why?
conversation.
Why do you think? Why do you think that's what we're being presented? Not necessarily who's presenting it to us. I think we both know that we're being lied to. The kind of the natural progression is who's lying to us. What are the lies? You know, why are they? Why do you think we're being presented with this fake reality?
It's fold your arms, walk in line, toe to toe,
Yeah,
and stay the course. And I
yeah.
think that
Get
that's
back
the
in line,
reasoning
right?
why. It is people in
Control.
general, it is definitely a control. We've adapted where we ask questions, and then over the last 30 years, it's all of a sudden, don't ask a question. Don't ask a question. Why won't you do this? Why won't you abide by these rules? Why won't you? And you see it. It's almost like we're watching real-time simulation of everyone is brainwashed. Everyone is brainwashed. And you don't know who's doing the brainwashing. Like, I heard that as like a kid. Like, oh, that person got like when you watch like the documentary on like the Manson family, right?
Mhm.
Like, why would they all group up and do this? And then they were
Yeah.
like, it was brainwashing. It was the devil. They were
Or the
brainwashing.
the cult with the Kool-Aid. What was that? The
Hmm. I
yeah.
do make jokes on my channel that you're all in a cult and we drink Kool-Aid on Wednesdays. So don't worry. I'm brainwashing too.
Yeah.
But I used to think it was like this imaginary source of brainwashing, right? Like that
Yeah.
wouldn't happen to me. That wouldn't happen in real life. And then all of a sudden we saw people stay 6 feet apart. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't ask a question. What do you mean? The government doesn't shut down. The government does shut down. Why? Why? Why?
Yeah.
You pay taxes. Don't ask a question. Don't ask a question. You're a feminist, but don't ask a question. And
Mhm.
so they want you in this filed line, but filed hating each other. Because if you guys are mad at each other, you never question anything bigger, the bigger simulation of what's going
Yeah.
on.
Woo, I got dark quick.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
It's
you're
not
fine.
like a political, like I'm very
That's
neutral, but I'm
good.
just saying you got I think people are
I
very brainwashed.
I I bring up COVID a lot, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I hate to do it. It always feels like I'm living in the past, but it's such a recent example.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember during those times, like if you were the one asking, uh, why do I have to wear a mask, right?
Yep.
Everybody around, I mean, 95, I say 95 to be generous. It's probably closer to 98% of people were like, why aren't you wearing one? Like, no, 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 that's the wrong question, dude. Why are you wearing one? I remember I remember so many times, you know, you see people like cut a hole and they were like eating chips. They had gloves on in the store
Mm-hmm.
and they were eating a bag of chips, like with their gloves. You know, I'm like, don't you? Or cashiers wearing the same gloves all day, handling money,
And
giving
then
you
touching
money.
your face. Yeah. So I went to
Or
school for biology. So I had so many questions in it. I was like, that's a lot of cross contamination,
it's
guys.
like I don't
What?
I don't think. Or in the military, we went through what was called sea burning, where we would simulate. I was stationed in Alaska, and we would simulate
Hmm.
a chemical attack from
Yep.
Korea. And you know, if you're chemically like you had to go through the decon line, and you're in your things,
Exactly.
and they would like you had to peel your gloves backwards, and then you would
Hmm.
dip them in bleach, and there was this whole process to get clean. So I wasn't really fooled by anything they were telling. And I used to wear a respirator for work too. And I
Yep.
was like, that's not working. What you're telling me is not accurate. I know that for a fact.
And people
But
got
nobody would.
very,
They were just emotionally invested in it, I guess. I don't know.
hmm when the
But
pandemic happened, because I already prepped, like we packed up our stuff. And we actually went to Washington to stay at family's house on the
Oh,
coast.
did you?
And that was the first time I had ever felt the Gestapo-ish of
On the
it
west coast of on the
on
west side of Washington,
mhm,
like Washington State.
Washington State. And
Oh yeah,
so
you were in it.
we were out at the beach, we were homeschooling, and, my 2 kids were running
Two
around.
strikes right
There
there. Yeah.
oh, yeah, 100%, and there was, like, a beach dwell, there was nobody for miles,
Ah,
right? So I
yeah.
was working out, my kids are running around and playing, and my dogs are running, and all of a sudden I see, like, police lights, and I was like, "Did they
Like,
close
oh, who
off
are
the
they here
beach?"
for? Yeah, you're like looking
I
around.
was like, "What did I do?" And
Right.
they were like, "You cannot have not a mask on, you have to." And I was like, "But I'm outside by the ocean, there's no
Because of the
one near
whale?
for
Like,
mile." I was like, "There's a dead whale over there, is that what you were looking for?" And they're like, "No, you need a mask." And so I was
oh my
like, "Oh,
gosh.
kids, we're gonna go." And that's when I felt like I got into this, like, secretive kinda style lifestyle, like, my kids never wore a mask. I never let them go to the store, never anything, because I didn't want them to feel this, like, constant fear that was being shoved down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
And so but we already prepped, so I, like, grow my own food and produce my own food, so we rarely went anyways. It was literally
Yeah.
for, like, milk and cheese.
Yeah. And I think that's an important part of prepping, right? Like
Mhm.
insulating ourselves from these systems. So
Yep.
I remember during COVID, we didn't mask up either as a family, and we found one dentist who was willing to see us, and we had to go before they opened, and we took up the whole bank of chairs. Like they got my whole
Yep.
family in all at once. We went in the back door, so nobody. They were really cool about it, which I appreciate
Mhm.
in hindsight. But I was like, what is this? That's when I started to get nervous. I was like, are we going to get to a place where I can't even get medical care because I won't do what they're at, And I've done videos on compliance too, and I get comments from people that are like, well, yeah, trust the professionals, and then this and that, and I can't do it, especially after COVID. Like anybody who didn't come out of that with a little bit of red pill,
Mhm.
I don't know what would convince them, I'm almost
Yeah.
at a place where I don't try and really convince people anymore. It's just like, all right, dude,
So in
keep.
college, I worked with parasites. I worked in a level 3 lab,
Hmm.
like,
like a
with
like a
flesh,
bio lab with like,
like a bio lab,
yeah,
and,
like
like,
in the
the
movies.
stuff that was being pumped out, like, I remember people, like, screaming at me, and I worked, on animal trials that ended up going to human trials that ended up going, to Africa to work with hookworm,
Oh
and
wow.
we had to go through it took 10 years for us to do a human trial. So when that jab came out, and I was like, "Well, how long has it been researched? What kind of research is it? What is the fatality rate? What is this? Blah, blah, blah." All of a sudden, I was this horrific person. I was like, "You guys, I have a degree in biology. Like, I've worked in labs. I wanna know." And I remember one of our doctors rejecting us with my kids because I would not do it. And I was like, "You need to give me how many failures there are. I wanna know all of the injury reports. I wanna know everything before I put something in my child who I am
Yeah.
responsible for until they are an adult." But making my daughter was born, she was born with kidney disease. She's a
Mm.
medical kid. I have questions on everything. She doesn't even take ibuprofen. You're mad at
Yeah.
me over that? Like, come on. She
Yeah.
can't even take that because of her kidneys. So I'm going to ask questions. And people were like, "You're going to kill someone. This is all your fault." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. I stay at home. I don't want nothing
Yeah.
to do with people. What do you
Yeah.
mean?" Like, but just asking questions in general was frowned upon. So I feel like
Yeah.
everybody has that black pill, like, you have to ask a question. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be anything wrong with asking a question.
Right. And that, yeah. Oh my gosh. I that we
Flashbacks.
yeah, we were prepping before that, and I kind of gave up on it. But when COVID hit is when all that knowledge kind of came. I started to ramp back up because I realized we're not anywhere near prepared as we need to be. So that's when I got back
Mhm.
pretty heavily, was during COVID, and I used that first year and then the second year and started doing all the stuff and things. But where where are you? What's your ideal state? I mean, you're getting more serious about prepping. You've got land now.
Mhm.
Think 5 years. Where does Crystal and her fam want to be?
Ooh,
5 years down the road. What if?
I don't
Well,
even
let's take money out of the equation.
know. Okay, money out of the
I've heard you.
equation.
I remember I watched your video when you were on the stairs. You're like, the well and our neighbors and the lands and the inspection.
Right? It's like when people don't realize how much money costs into it, like,
Yeah.
they're like, "Why
Just
don't you
get
have
a
a
well.
well dug?" I'm like, "It's $40,000. Do you wanna pay for it for me?
Oh
Because that
my
would be
gosh.
cool."
Yeah, that'd be
That
great.
would be cool,
Get
but
sponsored by a well company.
right? But I was
Yeah.
like, "No, this is coming out of hard-earned cash," and I bought my property with cash
Nice.
so that it wasn't as much on a government radar
Yeah.
because, well, I'm just doing it from person to person, that's it.
Right.
Where I would want to see it, it's weird because of the way that the weather and everything has kind of shifted over time because I grow a lot of my own food. So
Mhm.
this is the first year in Utah I've never seen snow.
We don't
Like
have any snow either.
we have
Me and
no snow and it is petrifying for fires. I'm petrified.
for the coming because we need the runoff for
All of
spring.
our reservoirs, we've had so many mountain ranges wiped with fires this year. Our reservoirs are empty. The ponds, the lakes, like when I was hiking, like during my hunts, there's like nothing there. And now
Wow.
there's no snow. So I'm like, what are we gonna do? We've looked at Montana, we've looked at Wyoming. We want something way more isolated. So we did do a different area in Utah that's way more isolating than
Mhm.
like the valley per se. Um, but I mean, we loved Oregon, we love Washington. I've lived in like 12 states, so I'm kind of like a very nomadic.
Yeah.
So anywhere is better than nowhere, and the less people, the better is. But if we end up with water issues here in Utah, we'll leave. We'll leave.
Yeah. Yeah, that could do it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
do you guys are you guys part of a group? Is that too
Yeah,
much that Oh, you
yeah, we
are?
actually
Nice.
do. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So, I have people who I've met through social media who we've become friends with, family,
Mhm.
friends, all that. Like, everyone has different skill types. Everyone is very like-minded,
Got it.
and out at the property, they know, like, none of them would show up without preps. Like, I would say that. Like, in an emergency, they are the people
That's
who
what you
are
want, right? Yeah.
exactly with the way the world is going, and you can't do it all yourself. So there's a lot of us that love to can, a lot of us that love to hunt, that hunt together. Um, and I think community does really build it where you feel more self-sufficient
Yeah.
and you
You
can last a lot longer.
What would be, my channel is the 68 percenters, right?
Mhm.
I think we're probably a couple notches shy of where you are in your prepping journey. What would
Mhm.
be your advice to a 68 percenter, a prepper who is like, well, I've just started prepping, I've gotten into, I know what to do. You guys seem like you're doing the things. You're
Mhm.
starting to do the things for real. What would be your advice? Like, how would
This
you coach someone?
ooh, to coach them or poach
Yeah,
them.
coach. No, not
Coach.
poach.
I was like, "Not
You
poach. I'm
can, you
not
can
take
coach my,
I don't want no, I don't wanna do that." Just start. Growing your own food, just setting smaller goals. Anybody that is a 68 percenter, you all have goals. Every person out there has a goal.
Mhm.
So if that means that you want to have 1 week of food for a family of 12, let's say, right? Then you work really hard at that. And then the next thing of, okay, let's look at nutrition. Do I have enough meat? Do I know how to do this? Do I know how to do that? And make it realistic goals because I'm the last person out there that's going to encourage you. Go, buy, stock up, hoard everything. I always encourage only food you eat, only things
Mm,
that you guys like, skills that you're willing to work on, so on and so forth, and use your preps. Like everything that's behind me and other places, I use all the time.
mm,
If I'm hiking, camping, my kids use them. My kids know how to run all of our Jackery systems.
mm.
They'll do it in a heartbeat. Like, and my youngest is 8 and he
Nice.
knows, if the power goes out, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. And it gives them that power, that independence. So I think all the 68 percenters they're all striving for that a little bit more
Yeah. Like
and goals.
I say, in my little intro, we're not like tactical ninja operating. We're not off-grid survival yet. Like that's probably the
Mhm.
goal. That's my goal. I'm a 68 percenter, not necessarily because that's just where I am right now. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that's where I want to stay. Um, and I love that you say that because I asked Chris from Wasteland by Wednesday pretty much the same question. And some people were caught off guard by his answer because he's a collapse prepper, right? He's
Mhm.
like Book of Eli, end of the world, everything is
Hey, I
gone.
dig it. Let's go for it.
Yeah, yeah, right. And I go, what would be your advice? And he goes, small. I said, what are the big rocks? And he goes, no, it's not the big rocks, it's the small
Mhm.
rocks. And some people are like, no, that doesn't make it. But you said the exact same thing, like
It's
small,
goals.
start doing small things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
'Cause even, like, my husband didn't prep when we met or anything.
Mhm.
I grew up this way, and he always just, like, was kind of like, "She's a little quirky." Like, she's always growing her own food and preserving it, and
Yeah.
she's learning a new skill, like, she's a little weird. And then the pandemic happened, and I remember, like, because we would have deep conversations. He's like, "I don't know if the supply chain would collapse that quickly, or I don't think that that's I think that's more Hollywood." And I was like, "No, it will, it will." And as soon as that happened, he walked in, he FaceTimed me, and he was like, "It collapsed. The supply chain is, like, gone." And I was like, "Don't worry, I've been taking care of all of us. We're fine. Everything's
Like, I
fine."
got us.
And then he
I
started
love
getting
that.
into it, and he started realizing, and he was like, "How do I help you teach this? How do I bring a different skill set?" And I was like, "Goals, just the small stepping stones," because when you lack goals, that's when we see prepper burnout, which you said you already had gone through, right? You've
Yeah.
had prepper burnout where you were like, "I got too deep and then I was done for a bit." And then I realized I still wasn't prepared. It's organically creating it into your life and putting it into such a rotation that it no longer feels like you're prepping.
Mm,
So for me, a new garden is not anything like, "This year there could be a potential famine. The world's going to end and I need a garden now." It's, I've always had a garden. I always am doing something a little new each year.
yeah.
What's that next goal? "Oh, I would like to learn about ducks." I got ducks and my neighbors hate me, by the way. They're hilarious.
My neighbor got ducks, and we're getting to watch them go through it, and I'm like, oh, I don't. My wife was like, we're getting them next. I was like, I don't know if you want to. Like they had
They're
a
so
beautiful,
loud. They're
yeah. They're
and they're
they're they have personality, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Charlie is like he's like a little chihuahua that I carry around. He's just a big old duck, and he's just Charlie. I think Charlie would charge somebody for me, like, straight up better than an attack dog, like
There's been a couple times where our neighbors have been out of town, and they go, hey, can you get our ducks in the pen? I don't know if we can. My kids are out there with like blankets, and we're trying to herd these ducks, and they're
yeah.
flying all over. Yeah,
Come on, ducks.
yeah. Um, so let me ask you another question. That you're a wife and a mother.
Mhm,
Um, the way you've described, I love the way you've described prepping this. It's just kind of, it's part of your normal routine. It's part of your
mhm.
daily life. How would you recommend somebody um, either passing this knowledge on to your kids or involving your kids? Like what has been your strategy, or what have you seen work? I'm sure you've had successes and failures, but what have you seen work in terms of, like you said, your kids can run the jackeries, and how do
Mhm.
you get your kids involved? Because sometimes I feel like it's just me out in the garage learning this stuff and doing this stuff, and my kids are playing a video game, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yep.
so what should be a strategy for somebody with kids, like a family?
Well, first of all, if your kids are playing video games, get them on DayZ. It's the ultimate prepper game right there, and it's gonna
Daisy.
just
I'm gonna write
reel
that
them
down.
in. It's one of my favorite ones. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, diehard fan. I do game,
Only let them
so
play Daisy. Got it.
only let them play DayZ,
I love that.
because it teaches them water purification, medications, pneumonia.
Oh,
Oh, I'm telling, it's all incorporated, and it's a hard game,
wow.
and it kind of
I
like
never
triggers
thought about
the
doing
mind.
that.
It's kinda cool, but with my kids, I started canning, like, everything I do right here since they were really, really little, and we've
Yeah.
always had chickens. We've always had, like, they know the circle of life. They understand that animals live, they die. My son's 8. He started going hunting with me, then he was helping me process the meat. Just incorporating them and give them a task that they can do successfully. So my
Mhm.
son, unfortunately, I think I made him a pyro, so he loves fires, but all my kids love fires. My daughter, we love to go side by side riding. She does all the radio comms. She works all the ham radios. She will
Wow.
set up every rig with a GMR or a ham radio so everyone can stay in contact.
Wow.
We've watched side by sides flip, and they realize how calm and collected that their parents are when something happens, right? Like, we need to get out of the vehicle. I need to go check on so and so. The guys are working on getting people out. I'm doing first aid. It's just such a common part, but I think it's both, we're both military too, so we're a lot
Yeah.
calmer in irrational situations, and incorporating that in your kids, because you don't wanna go up to your kids and be like, "The world is ending, shit's about to hit the fan, you should have fear and total panic, and this is it."
Yeah.
that is not going to resonate with them. They already live a very fearful life. They go through active shooter drills. So there's no reason that you can't have fire drills. There's no reason that you can't talk about natural disasters. Having a calm, rational plan, children respond well to it. It's the same towards not just having a plan, but teaching them. Like my kids all go to outdoor camp. They get a week away, no technology, no nothing. They work on different
Ooh,
skills. They are so, and it's always the teenagers are always like, I can't live without my phone.
yeah.
And then they get
Start
to camp and
hyperventilating. Yeah.
they're like, I never want to see my phone again. And I'm like, yes. But
Nice.
backpacking, hiking,
Yeah.
camping, get your kids outdoors, go fishing with your kids. It doesn't have to be doomsday. It just can be small little things and bonding. And
Yeah.
it just really teaches them that presence. And so for my kids, they're like, "What's this do?" And I was like, "Oh, you want power like in the camper?" I'm like, "I don't want to turn on the generator. It's cold outside. I'm just going to flip on my Jackery." And then my kids are like, "Flipping on Jackery, done." Like they're quick and they learn really fast and they don't look at it as fear. They look at it as a confidence. And
Mhm.
that's where we need to get the fear cycle out of prepping and turn it into prepared and confident.
Mm, I love that. Get the fear out of prepping. Do you like that's one of my stated goals, right? Fear and
Mhm.
fantasy out of prepping. Do you feel like that's one of your goals too? Like
Yep.
you do a lot of canning, a lot of like regular a pretty regular approach to prepping. Do you feel like
Mhm.
that's part of your
Yep. I think sarcasm and taking the fear out, even though my name says Doomsday in there,
yeah.
it's the I want people to be drawn to it, not fearful of it.
Yeah.
So, even on TikTok, you asked a little bit about TikTok. I would do those viral reels, right?
Hmm.
The same ones that fashion influencers are doing, actors, those kind of things. And it just gives that humanitarian, that relatability. And they're like, oh, she's a normal person. I'm like,
Yeah.
my life is completely normal.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
others, it might not be.
Yeah, right. I talk about that a little bit, but so many channels, preppers are so doggone serious all the time. And I know they laugh, they just never laugh on camera. And
Mhm,
that's just not very interesting to me. When I watch that, I'm like, because initially I felt pressure to be that, like I had to be like this serious prepper Rambo guy all the time. So I don't know if I can do that. That sounds exhausting. And I like to see people be be regular, be normal,
mhm.
you know?
Well, and I see it a little bit just because of I hate to say gender,
Mm,
but for females, a lot of times on this app and on the other apps is when they think of a female that's into preparedness, it's only pantry preparedness. It's only this right here.
kitchen stuff.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I touch such a wide variety between backpacking, off-gridding,
yeah,
hunting, hiking, fitness, like just so many different areas. I don't fit in. And so
yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to fit into a stern. And people will always say stuff like, I'm going to come break it. Like some full grown man somewhere is like, I'm going to break into your house and get you. And I'm like,
Someone said
really?
that to you?
Oh, all the time. And I'm like, you realize
What?
I like teach at a range, right? Like I would probably not do that, but by all means, that's what you want. Go for it, honey. Like
Do you do
whatever.
you do you get a lot of hate on
Oh yeah.
from
I'm
from
being a
online?
female. Like either I'll get people will over sexualize me
Yeah.
or they will say because I'm a woman, I know nothing. And
Oh,
then it's
wow.
always it's a curiosity because my husband experiences it because then they'll like fanboy over my husband and my husband's like, "You realize I learned this from her, right?" Like she like teaches our entire unit how to do this. Like that's
Wow.
crazy. And so it's kind of a weird it's a weird dynamics because over
Yeah.
here it's like they either want me only in the kitchen, but if I touch anything else, they don't like me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, "Stay in your lane."
Stay in your lane. Yeah. And then for you as a male, they want you that serious. Don't laugh. Don't smile. No
Yeah.
sarcasm. You can't have any facial context. And so
Yeah.
I just figure I'm just very sarcastic. I got a
Mm,
dry sense of humor and people will like it or they don't.
yeah. I think one of the first videos of yours that I watched was you were outing some dude who asked you for like a was it a bikini pic or something to
Oh
like
yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it was a few
Yeah.
months
That's
ago.
a
I remember that.
constant.
Oh shoot.
He
I
literally
got one threat, but that was from yeah. that's only happened to me once. So I was curious because I know you've talked about that before, and
Mhm.
I know on other platforms it might be worse. But well,
Here
kudos to
it's
you
the
for keep going.
constant.
On
Yeah, like
YouTube, it is.
people yeah, YouTube, it's like it's kind of this waterland. It was like that on TikTok. Once I
Oh, is it?
established my presence, then it was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, well, she'll probably call me out or make a reel with my picture on it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'd be like,
She's a little unstable." I'm like, "Who are you? What do you do for a living? You're an
show it to his wife. You're
accountant?"
like, hey, your husband said this. Yeah, yeah,
We've had people do that before where they've wrote crazy things, then they had their wife tagged in all their content, and I was like, "Hey, yo, come get your boy.
yeah.
I
Come
don't
get your
want him here.
man.
Come get your man, please, cause please." But they all say stuff like, "I'm really interested in a tactical bikini. Will you model it?" And I'm like,
That's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
"Yeah, that's what it was." And I was like, "No, absolutely not. Absolutely not."
Oh man.
People are weird.
Yeah.
Internet internet war. But you used to do it's not an after actions report. What is it? It's your hate
The
comments.
the
It's
hurt feelings
hilarious.
report.
Hurt feelings report. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That drew
Yeah.
me in. I was like, yes, somebody gets it. Like
I
somebody's not afraid to read it.
yeah. I early on that was a way that I kind of dealt with the negative comments. 'Cause
Mhm.
I didn't know how else to deal with it. But you know what's funny is it seems like I'm getting less and less negative comments.
The further
Um,
you go.
Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
getting harder to do hurt feelings report. There's less and less hurt feelings, but there is a lot to learn from them. I mean, people teach me a lot, and they say a lot of interesting things that gives me more to talk about. So I
Mhm.
love those. They're my favorite. They don't get
Yep.
as many views, but I love doing them.
They used to get really good I don't know. I feel like sometimes people only want me to talk about like the hard stuff. And then do
Hmm.
you ever notice that people don't want to see the actual prepping stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I have noticed that. You know what I've noticed on some other channels, which shocks me too. Like I look at some other channels that they only talk, like they're just talking, they
Mhm.
get like a crap ton of views. And I'm like, that'd be great. Like if I just talked and I got that many, but I always feel like pressure to do the things, you know,
Mhm. To do the
like to
things or
do,
show the things.
yeah,
Yeah. Like I've done a few ones and I'm like, and then they'll ask me about it on live, and I'm like, "There's a whole video. Like, go watch it.
right. I put one out.
Screenshot it. I made even a chart for you in there.
Yeah,
Screenshot it, use it later."
yeah,
It's interesting because I feel like there is that fantasy side of
yeah,
prepping. The
yeah.
people, they just think that they're gonna wake up and be on Greenland, and they're gonna make all the right choices. Have you seen Greenland 2 yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Is it
But
really? Would you consider it a prepper movie? Is it a,
yeah, it's kind of like an end of the world.
okay.
Kind of. They're in a bunker at the beginning, and then the bunker
Oh,
collapses. Have you
that
never seen
counts.
Greenland?
I've seen the first one. I haven't
Okay,
seen the
so when
second
they
one.
run to the bunker,
Oh,
then
at the end.
there's
That's
other stuff. I
okay.
won't give you too many spoilers, but it's pretty good. I just got it, and I liked it, but
Nice.
it was pretty good, and I feel like there's a lot, people like over romanticize different. What's your favorite post-apocalyptic prepping show? What's your favorite?
I'm not a big TV show guy. I
What about
I've
movies?
movies. I don't really watch the zombie movies. I always refer to Book of Eli. I think that's probably my favorite.
That one's a good one.
Even though when I watch it, I'm like, there's no way if he was totally blind, he could do most of that stuff. Like, but anyway, I just kind of I dismiss that, and then so
Mhm.
I do like that movie. But
Yeah,
what about
it's a
you?
good one. Ooh, movie-wise? Oh, I'm a zombie person
Are
through
you?
and through. Like, I'm so ready for I feel like we could solve a lot of problems and stop picking each other as enemies if we
If
had
we had
another enemy.
zombies,
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That's just the fantasy land part of it, but I do
yeah,
love
right.
the whole idea of zombies. But there's some good ones. There's a lot of good ones. Greenland was good. Homestead was good. All of them have their flaws too, though.
Yeah,
Um, so you
we
have
went
but
to
my
watch
all-time
Homestead. We were disappointed in Homestead, the movie. I heard the
Yeah,
show is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
better. I might have heard you
I
saying
haven't
that.
watched I haven't watched too much of the show, only a few
Okay,
episodes, so I
yeah,
need to catch up on it. Homestead, I feel like it had good parts and bad
yeah.
parts, and the part that they didn't realize is that is definitely Utah culture. There's, like, a whole different culture here. Like,
What do you mean Utah culture?
mega mansions, that kind of crazy,
Oh,
and then here in Utah, people do emergency preparedness because of their religion. That is
oh, yes, right.
really yes, LDS does a ton, right? They have manuals, they have their
Mhm.
own stores, they have all of that. So when people go, well, aren't you afraid your neighbors are going to turn on you? And I'm like, oh no, they are such good little good people. Nah, they got their own food storage. And then like my neighbors, they all have freeze dryers and I've helped them work on their freeze dryers. So I'm like, I ain't gotta worry about you guys. You got
Yeah,
your
right.
own stuff going. We're good.
I do love
Um,
that that's part of that culture, though.
it
I'm
is
not
part in
LDS, but I
which
do like that. Yeah,
allows us to have one less person to worry about compared to other areas that we've lived.
yeah.
Um, but I think my all-time favorite movie would be Goodbye World. Have you ever watched Goodbye World?
I don't think so.
It was
Goodbye. That's
way
a movie.
before its time. Yeah. Find it. You could probably find it on like Plex or something, to watch it for free. But Goodbye World is about a hacking simulation.
Hmm.
That there's a virus, it attacks phones, blah, blah, blah. But you see the decay of people very quickly
Mm.
and how quickly like the government is already going to go protect what the government does best, while civilians are just left to flounder. And they have like this little cabin, it's off grid. There's some Hollywood features of it and stuff, and you're like, but they cover some really cool topics in it. Like they get into an argument with somebody that's in the cabin, they kick them out. That
Hmm.
person runs to the next door neighbor and tells them what they have.
Oh,
So there's
oh,
like those little trinkles, but it was way before any of this like stuff was going on more frequently in society. So it was a
yeah.
total flop for Hollywood. Like it was like
The timing was off. Good movie,
the
but wrong
timing,
timing. Okay.
good timing, wrong movie. And one of the lead characters, he says something, and it's an argument where my husband and our friends have had, where I'm talking about filtration systems, stuff like that. And I was like, if one day I'm not here, none of you know how to do what I do that's inside my head. So I
Mhm.
created a prepping binder that literally is like drawn out every single aspect of every system I put into place that's in my head, so that my kids could run it like a manual, my husband could run it like a manual, that somebody, a complete stranger, could run it like a manual. And he says it in the movie. He's trying to talk to one of his friends, and his friend hasn't taken the severity of the situation yet. And he
Mhm.
goes, if I die, I have a daughter, and you have to know how to do this because I need them to survive.
Mm.
And it was so simple as changing out a well filter on
Yeah.
just basic equipment. And that was very resonating, where I was like, this whole cabin is completely off grid and he's trying to give his knowledge, but some people weren't ready to be receptive to it.
Yeah.
I think it was a great movie.
I think about that too. Like when I think about my kids, knowledge transfer to them, and I'm really kind of in that phase where I'm focused on that now. I have a daughter who is super interested in firearms. So
Mhm.
anytime any firearm comes out ever for to
Yep.
shoot or to clean or to transfer or to move, I have to involve her. Like she gets mad at me. She's like, "Did you clean that gun?" And I didn't know. Like she gets
Yep.
upset. So, but I feel like an obligation almost because I'm getting to the point where I'm not going to be the one carrying this. My kids now entering their
Mhm.
20s, this is probably going to be their fight, 15, 20 years from now. A lot of the stuff that we're preparing for,
Mhm.
I'm probably not going to be part of that whatever it is, that
Yep.
opposition or whatever fantasy you come up with. Like I'm going to be too old to be doing that. The fight that we see coming is probably for our kids,
Yep.
unfortunately. That makes me sad,
Unfortunately.
and it gives me a sense of urgency too. Like I need to transfer this knowledge to my kids. I need to involve them. I need to teach them. Um,
Mhm.
that was some really great advice that you gave too. It um, involve,
Involve them,
I
make it
think about that.
fun.
Yeah.
Like my son, him and it, like he loves to do a fire. His birthday's this weekend, and I was like, "Do you want to go out to the property?" There's no electricity. There's no, you know what I mean? And he was like, "This would be so cool. Do I get to do the fires?" And I was like, "Yes, you can do the fires. Yeah, yeah,
Right. You
absolutely,
have
kiddo."
to do the fires, right?
But he
We
also knows
won't.
how to turn on a buddy heater. And you
Oh, there you go.
see all the storms that just hit, right? How many people were petrified they wouldn't have heat? And I talk
Yeah.
about buddy heaters, and they're like, "I don't know if I can do that." And I was like, my 8-year-old can turn on a buddy heater. You
It's a
can
little
do
button.
this.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah, you
just
can do
click,
it.
click. It's gonna be okay. Don't panic.
Have you done on your platform or either TikTok? You said you've taught classes. Are most of those
Mhm.
face to face, or have you monetized any teaching online at all?
So I've never monetized it online. I've taught a few private classes where somebody has, paid me just to come in Will you come
Mhm.
look at this? Let me show you one-on-one. I want you to just kind of go through. I've done a little bit of that, not very much. I mainly do it on live stream. So where I'll allow
Oh,
you just to ask questions away and you can curate your own plan. And then I do like a Discord where people can open tickets and like ask questions like one-on-one, of like they're too they don't want to show what they have, but they're like,
yeah,
I'll open a ticket and I am the only one that has access. So I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, I would maybe arrange this, make sure your oldest is last or your oldest is first, your newest is last, or
yeah.
set in a rotational that's comfortable. And yeah, so and then here locally, I've taught like canning classes and
Mhm.
just different things, gone into churches and taught people and
Yeah. I'm thinking of getting into some teaching like through my channel. Like that might be the next level of thing that I do. But
that's
um,
exciting.
yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't I don't know. I wish the channel would grow to the point that it would pay. Are you making a living from your? Can I ask you that?
Yeah,
From your
yeah.
from your social media stuff? Are you at the point where you're making a living?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, you are.
So that
Nice.
that I left my job to do this full time.
Okay, nice. That's.
Yep.
I'd love to be there. So maybe we could talk about some work
Cross-platform
stuff.
and
Yeah,
build.
cross
Don't put
platform.
it all in because TikTok then took a dumpster dive and I was like, oh,
Yeah, I heard
oh,
you say
gotta go.
something about a video on TikTok like getting like 3 million views and it made you like $25 or something. Is
hmm
that? That's
hmm
crazy. That
That's
is
why a lot
crazy.
of people who are like verified and stuff, they've come out and said it. Like people will be like, "You're verified over there. You make millions." And I was like, "They took half of our most of our pay away, guys. I'm doing this
Wow.
free."
Yeah,
Um, and so
that
people are
was
like,
shocking
"Oh,
when I
that's
heard that.
interesting." Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
anyway, I'm glad you're over here. I appreciate your time there, Crystal. It's nice to finally meet you and get to sit down and have a conversation with you.
I
Uh,
appreciate hanging out and having a conversation and not like an interview, like where we could
yeah,
chit
I'm
chat.
not interested in that. Yeah. Do you mind doing this more? Would you be willing to do
Yeah,
this every so
yeah.
often? Okay,
Would you
cool.
mind doing it on mine too?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'd love
Okay,
to be over
cool,
there. Yeah.
perfect.
Well, as I figure things out, so I barely figured this piece out. So now we'll have to figure out. I assume we can bring other people in. Like, could we have 3 people on this platform?
I think we can have more than that. I think we can even host lives doing it that way too.
Okay. What we'll have
Either
to teach.
record or lives. Yeah, I think we can do
You'll probably
both.
have to teach me. That's just
I
that's
have no idea what I'm doing half the time, so
okay.
we might
We'll teach
fail.
each other. We'll learn together.
We'll learn together. We'll learn together.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're
Well,
just over an
involve your
hour. I don't want to.
kids.
Yeah, yeah. Get them involved too.
Yep.
I won't take any more of your time, but I really appreciate you coming and doing this, and I hope to do it some more.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on, and it was great having a good chat.
Cool. All right, Crystal.
All right.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.